2026, can we have roll call?
Yep. Okay. Commissioner Cloutier,
Here.
Commissioner Sutton, Commissioner Taylor,
Here.
Vice Chairman Baird,
Here.
and Chairman Williams. Just a reminder to make sure that you turn on your microphones when you speak, please.
Okay, let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the April 2026 meeting, and I believe those have been online and available. Do we have any comments, or do we have approval of the minutes?
I move we approve the April 1st, 2026 minutes as written.
Have a motion to approve the minutes of April 1, 2026. Second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
opposed?
Point of order. Can you second a meeting if you weren't part of the meeting? Can you second the approval of the minutes if you're not part of the meeting? Seems to me like it's you two that should be doing all that.
I was thinking the other is not seconding it, but could I vote to approve it? I could second the motion, but technically, I guess I couldn't vote to approve it because I wasn't there.
Our second.
I believe you can, but let's make that our rule.
I'm fine with that. I just.
Okay.
No.
Well, thank you very much. Any informational reports from the commissioners prior to starting the meeting? We can call to the public or any.
I have a couple of informational reports, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Reminder that there will be no July commission meeting. And since today is the chair's birthday, we should wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Chair.
I've been trying to avoid that, but
Well, you need
I
to,
canceled all my future ones.
Happy 36.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would hate to tell you how old I am. The call to the public, if there's any public comment, you really need to fill out one of these forms. We would really like you to fill out a form if you're going to call to the public initially in the meeting. We can't respond if you have any comments or questions. But during the regular agenda, we can have a dialogue with you, but we would still like you to fill out one of these forms and go to the microphone. So is there any comments from the participants here tonight? Okay, airport managers report.
all right, gentlemen, you've approved the minutes, so we will move on. I'll give you the update on avgas sales for May, the Vert Tower operations count, capital projects update, and go over noise complaints. So in May, we sold 3,491 gallons of avgas. The price today is $7.37 a gallon. It was changed on the 27th of May. The average as of Tuesday in the region was $7.14. We accepted a delivery of nearly 7,000 gallons on May 29th. So avgas is, even at this exorbitant price, we're still selling quite a bit. So happy to answer questions about avgas.
Could you in the future indicate whether that is up or down from the pre? I can't remember. Was that more than last month, less than last month?
It's
Could you
up.
indicate from now on whether that's an increase or a decrease?
This definitely was an increase. I think it was 707 when we changed it on the 27th.
I'm talking the number of gallons, please.
It's always about 7,000.
Okay,
And it may be 7,010 when we get it at the terminal in Phoenix. By the time it gets up here, it might be 6,910.
I'm not communicating. 3491.
Is that more? That's probably more than we sold last month. Yes.
Thank you. That's the number I'm looking for.
That, yes, indeed,
Thank
that's
you.
more.
Thank you. Do you have any industry thoughts on what's going to happen now that we're getting some settlement in Iran? $7.37 a gallon for fuel is a lot of money for a private pilot. And I understand that in Scottsdale and Phoenix, it can be close to $10 a gallon.
The average that I gave you, the 714, is only for self-serve. Scottsdale full service was $10.92. Prescott was $10 for full service. Sedona was up there. So this was the self-service average. And I'm hoping that the volatility in the marketplace will settle down and that the delivery price will go back to what it has been in the past. Historically, we have taken the delivery price and added, I think the ops coordinator adds $1 per gallon. And leaves it alone till we get a new delivery. We've been adjusting it due to the volatility in the marketplace, and I hope that stops. I mean, the Straits of Hormuz are open again. Or maybe they were never closed. I don't know. So hopefully it settles down. And you're absolutely right. $7.37 a gallon is outrageous.
Well, many of the average private aircraft carry 60, 70 gallons, and you can do the math on that. It's kind of expensive.
No, you're absolutely right. And, we paid $1 more a gallon for this delivery than we did last time. At least $1.
Okay, thank you.
It was a busy month. 5,408 operations from Vert Tower. The ops tempo is again nearly 6% higher than it was last year. And through this time last year, we're almost 1,734 operations ahead of where we were last year. So last year we did 61,000, a little more than 61,000. We might break 65,000 this year. And when we get to the graphs, you'll see that almost all of that is visiting aircraft.
Do you have a perception of this month? I mean, I was just saying, I was standing in my middle of my garage door today, looking at the stop sign at Burr and Montesoro. That's right down the line that they line up to land. And it seems like the first half of this month, it's actually been down. I go out every morning and have my coffee. It's actually been a little more peaceful. Or is that?
I think you're probably right. The weather and the wind, I think it put a dent in Embry-Riddle.
Okay.
They have been here this month, mostly in the morning. And you'll see from the chart that their busiest time is 7 in the morning till about 1 in the afternoon when the wind comes up. The wind this afternoon was right down the runway and probably steady at 20 knots. So I haven't seen them as much as I have, but they are here in the morning.
Right. Okay.
So we'll see in August how June and July were. So as always, most of the traffic is visiting traffic as opposed to base traffic. Busiest days were Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, with Friday the busiest day. As I said, the hours were Busiest from 7 in the morning till early afternoon, 1 o'clock, 1:30. And the wind shifted a little bit this month or last month. The takeoffs were 28% to the north, and it has been higher up in the 60-70% to the north. So when you look at the wind at the airport, about half the time it's from the south and half the time from the north. Yesterday afternoon, it was about a 20-knot crosswind, which if you were a student in a 172 would be very exciting. So, pretty typical. And so next, in the August meeting, I'll give you both June and July. Any questions? Okay. Talk about capital projects. This Happy Reels and guidance signs is a project that just keeps on giving. We're waiting for the FAA to do a flight check on the PAPIs, Precision Approach Path Indicators. We haven't heard back from them. Cost is anywhere between $15,000 and $30,000. We did, with the council's approval, replace 10,000 feet of the power supply circuit for the runway lighting. It was so bad that there was bare open wires, and when we got a monsoon event this summer, it would have failed. So we're very thankful the council saw fit to allocate another $53,000 for that project. So
Question, will there be any disruption on the replacement of that cable as far as the runway or taxiway is
it's
concerned?
done. It's already done.
It's done.
It's finished. Yes.
Okay.
So I guess there was not much disruption because nobody complained.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. One of the things that was an outgrowth of the airspace analysis done by Kaufman and your action and the council's action was to reaffirm the traffic pattern altitude is 800 feet for single engine aircraft. And I made sure that when the chart supplement, well, I hope I made sure when the chart supplement comes out July 15th, that the traffic pattern altitude will say 500 for helicopters, 800 for single engine aircraft, 1,000 for twins, and 1,500 for turbines. My most capable airport ops guy, Mr. Potter, I said, I need to get rid of this 1,000 foot that's on the signs out there. But no problem. He went out with a can of yellow spray paint, spray painted over the 1,000, and has already put on 800 feet with black address labels that he got at Ace today. So it says 800. So
Do we track the actual altitude that they come in?
Vert Tower can track the pattern altitudes, yes.
Okay, because again, just observation in my backyard, there've been a lot of them coming in, what I think is probably a lot lower than 800 feet. And I'm just curious if the data supports that.
I don't know. I know that most of the emails I'm getting to the north of the airport are reminding me that Embry-Riddle's still flying at 1,000 feet in the traffic pattern. So I'm going to actually meet with the chancellor tomorrow, along with the mayor of Clarkdale and Supervisor Nikki Check. And I think this is a conversation that the mayor wanted to have with the chancellor about the traffic pattern altitude. So that will be an interesting conversation that I typically just listen to. So be nice to get this one moving forward and off my plate. We've talked about this, the obstruction removal on the airfield. Dibble is still on task to do this. They're working on the bid documents for the taxiway reconstruction for this summer, the drainage portion primarily, and perhaps realigning some of the crossfield connectors. And we need to get that out so it can go to bid in July, so we can get a grant offer from the FAA. So this project, the obstruction removal part of it, is probably not moving as fast as I'd like to see it. But we may be able to level the old windsock hill, so that's good news. Be happy to answer questions about that.
Any questions?
Okay, moving on. So the taxiway project has been on the books for a long time. And the first thing we're going to do, is I've told you many, many times, is the drainage. We've repackaged the initial design work to do that. And this is what has to get out in July, so we can apply to the FAA for a grant based on a bid cost. This is a huge project. It will probably end up being a $5 million or more project. The most important part right now is drainage.
Rod,
Yeah.
as they're working on taxiways, I know I've asked you this before, is there a run-up area in the future?
I did not see a run-up area in the plans, particularly on the south end. The north end is going to be not a problem, because they will extend that parallel taxiway full length of the runway. So there will be some apron on the north end for runway 14 for run-ups. But as you well know, on the south end, there isn't a lot of room down there for a run-up area.
On the south end, are they going to extend the taxiway all the way to the end and to the very end of the runway, to the approach area even?
They're not going to do it. The parallel will not go past where the threshold is.
If they did, that would help a little bit with noise abatement. You would be able to get an aircraft in the air quicker.
I don't think that the overrun pavement has a pavement condition indexing or weight bearing capacity to support the critical aircraft, which currently is like a Twin Cheyenne. I have seen the Twin Cheyenne, by the way, back up, particularly on runway 14 to get more length.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
sure I would do that.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yes. So I redid this. I couldn't figure out how I got 7 voicemail complaints from one person in Clarkdale. So I went back this afternoon, and there was actually 7 from Clarkdale. There was 7 from Cottonwood. There was 2 from the Verde Village and 2 from unknown locations. And I thought I had QA'd this slide to reflect that, but obviously I had not. But the one from Clarkdale, I get regular complaints from him, and I've talked to him on the phone. It's very frustrating. I understand that. But I was happy to see that there was also some diversity from Cottonwood and Verde Village and unknown places. So this is not an accurate. Somewhere on my thumb drive is the accurate slide. So 36 email complaints, pretty typical. 27 were repeats. 28 of the 36 were from Clarkdale. Again, pretty typical. 6 from Cottonwood and 2 gave no location. A review of the Verde Tower data indicated that none of the Embry-Riddle airplanes flew outside of their 7 in the morning till 7 at night window.
Do we respond to each of these?
I don't respond to 36 email complaints. If somebody leaves me a phone number, I will try to call them back. I will tell you, my experience of doing this for 33 years is most people don't want to hear what I have to tell them. Okay. But I tell them the truth.
I understand. I also know that, I guess I put my customer service hat on. So, if you send it something, you kind of like to get an email back just to assuage their concerns and at least make them feel that someone heard them.
You're absolutely right. And if I wished I could do all that.
I hear.
No, I don't disagree with that at all. Any other questions, Mr. Chair?
No, Mary,
Thank you for letting me speak. I just had a quick question why it's always noted that they're repeat complaints. Because if Embry-Riddle flies where they shouldn't be or at a different altitude on a Monday and you get a complaint, and then Embry-Riddle or another flight school does the same thing on a Wednesday, that's a different airplane and in my opinion, a different occurrence. So it's almost dismissive when you say it's repeat complaints, because unless you're getting 5 complaints on the same day from the same person, I would agree that's a repeat complaint. But these are different occurrences on different days of the week, and I was just kind of wondering what the basis is for always saying it's repeated. Now, I do really appreciate that you break it down into Clarkdale and Cottonwood when you're able to, especially as we all know that there are, I think, 5 navigation easements in Cottonwood. So, I do like to know where all the complaints are coming from, and I do appreciate that. Thank you.
thank you. I think a lot of the resolution, and I've talked to Rod about this before, I really think we need to have a meeting with the chief flight instructor for Embry-Riddle. He's a nice young gentleman I met a couple of years ago at a helicopter meeting, but he would be the one that would work with the different flight instructors to try to get some consistency that you're talking about, the inconsistency, because of, there are different instructors every day. And if we could get if we could have a face-to-face with that chief flight instructor and kind of go through all of this, I think it'd be very helpful.
I understand. I'll ask the chancellor tomorrow. My gut tells me that the chancellor is the focal point for everything that goes to Embry-Riddle's flight department. So I think the chain of command is chancellor to the dean of the School of Aviation, then to the flight department chair. And the chancellor appears to me to work more with his safety team than the chair of the department. I don't know that, but he always says, I will bring this up with the safety team. So I'll ask tomorrow. I'll be happy to.
Hey, Rod, having come out of, at least half of my career out of academia, dealing with deans and chancellors and department heads, they're not gods.
No.
So, I mean, if we just showed up at their office, they're going to talk to us. Or if we invite them to come here, they will show up
I don't think they'll
because they
show
don't
up.
want us breathing down their necks.
I don't think they'll show up. I think they would definitely, if you go down to Prescott and ask to see the chancellor, he would see you. He's a pretty open guy. I don't think you'll ever see the chancellor attend an airport commission meeting. The
I'm thinking
department,
more the deans and department heads.
well, and the chair of the flight department, before I was hired, apparently came to commission meetings and was told to quit doing that. So it appears to me that the chancellor is the point of contact for Embry-Riddle. That's, I've met him, I've met the department chair. In fact, Ryan and I all have, and the new dean. So they're all pilots, they're all fighter pilots. Chancellor flew for the Thunderbirds. The department chair was a F-15 guy out of Klamath Falls, where the Air Force Reserve has their flight training school for F-15s. Old airplane, by the way. So if we can, they certainly, if you went down there, they'd see you.
The difficulty with that approach, I think we all understand now that we really don't have a lot of control over pilots once they leave the ground, and pilots are pretty independent. And I think that through a good relationship to address these kinds of issues on a real positive manner, in kind of a friendship type of a relationship is going to get us far more down the road than if we have a
Well,
conversation.
I agree with that.
We can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But meeting with them once a year is not going to develop that relationship. Meeting with it, asking them, summing them will not make that relationship. It's going to be showing up on their doorstep and say, hey, let's go get a Coke down at the machine or, and I think that the more they see someone from Cottonwood and have those conversations, that's where relationships get built.
I agree, Bob, but I tell you, I can guarantee you the last 2 years, we've had a lot of meetings with Embry-Riddle and a lot of one-on-ones with them. I mean, it has been very positive, quite frankly. I think Rod has met with them several times. And I
The
think,
chancellor's met.
I think we
with
made a
both-
lot of progress.
The chancellor's met with both the mayors and Supervisor Nikki Check regularly over the last year. And in her and Nikki Check's office. And so the meeting tomorrow was at the request of the mayor of Clarkdale, and the chancellor was accommodating. So there's been both mayors and the chancellor and the supervisor having a conversation, and I'm just sort of there as a wallflower to listen. But, the chancellor before that drove over 3 times and asked if he could meet with me in my office. And then I've been over there a couple of times, to see the campus and the flight department. We arranged through the chancellor for the council and some of the department heads to go down to Prescott to see what they have. And I think all of that was good. So they're not adverse to meeting with representatives of Cottonwood or me. But I think the focal point is the chancellor.
Do we have a mechanism to provide the monthly data that you provide us
Absolutely.
to provide to them?
Every month I send it to the chancellor.
Okay.
And I point out to him if any of his aircraft arrive before 7 in the morning or after 7 at night. And he gets back to me and says, the one that came in at 8:20 at night was an instrument approach and didn't realize he couldn't do a touch and go. So he's very good about explaining, why that happened. I suspect that instructor and that student won't ever do that again.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Do you have anything further on that topic? Anybody have a further topic or a discussion on noise and abatement?
The only thought is the conversation I had with you last week or last month at the end. And I think that, again, if I've got to be the guy to do that, but social media is a bane and an advantage. There's good and bad. And as I go look at the different social medias that talk about this, where you see the complaints, you got a lot of people complaining and no one ever responding. No one ever trying to set the record straight. And so I'm still a big believer of communication, that we need to start becoming a little more proactive, responding to the community with complaints like this and so that they don't feel that just falling on the floor. And like I say, if I've got to be the guy to start responding on there periodically, helping them understand that once these guys are an inch off above the ground, the FAA controls them, not us, etc. I just think that we need to probably reach out a little bit more. And I'll just leave it there.
Okay, I basically disagree with you that we have had a lot of discussions in addressing all of these complaints and problems, but we do have very little ability to make changes once those aircraft are in the air, like you mentioned.
I get that.
But the common problem that we have, which is not unusual at all, is that the average citizen doesn't understand that. They don't understand that we can't control those doggone aircraft. And that, so we tell them what the rules are. Rod goes through the whole listing of what the federal and the governmental rules are as far as pilots and airplanes are concerned, and they have a hard time accepting that, which is very normal. It's hard to accept that, we're not a controlled airport. If we were a controlled airport, we could control it all then. We could really work with those aircraft now. To be a controlled airport, you're going to have to be like a Flagstaff or a Prescott or a Scottsdale or something like that. And Cottonwood is never going to be a controlled airport. So we have to have dialogue with these people that have those complaints. And we try to educate the people on what our abilities are. And I think Rod has basically done a very good job in that area. He addresses everybody that comes to see him and talks to him about it. And so we can certainly get together and try to strategize on some other kinds of ways to do it, but it's real difficult when your answer is not what most people are looking for,
Well, and I get that. I absolutely, don't disagree. When I've got a 21-year-old's mom in my office complaining because I gave him a B instead of an A, she doesn't want to hear anything else. I totally get that, but it doesn't mean you don't keep trying.
We got to keep trying. You're right. You're exactly right.
I think if you go back 2 years, 3 years, a year ago, and look at the number of monthly complaints at that time compared to what they are today, Rod's done a tremendous job in educating the public through a very acceptable kind of a means. I get concerned myself that if you start engaging in social media, it suddenly becomes debate, and debate just heats up and makes matters worse at times.
I think the city council, when they changed the commission's duties to include hearing noise complaints, clearly points out the council is interested in this issue. I can tell you unequivocally that the mayor, when I got hired, was very interested in this issue. She and I had long conversations about that. So, and as you all that were on the commission remember, a year ago or a year and a half ago, it was not uncommon to have the mayor, the vice mayor, and a couple of council members at the airport commission meetings to find out what was going on. So I think that things are better. They could be even better. And I don't disagree. It would be nice if I had an admin assistant to respond to every noise complaint and every email that I get about noise. That would be helpful. So I think first I'd rather have another 3-day ops guy working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
But the report by somebody such as Mary coming in and saying there's inconsistency day by day on how these guys fly is something that we can follow up on.
No, I intend to tell the chancellor tomorrow, hey, the traffic pattern altitude is 800. The expectation is that your folks will fly the pattern at 800 feet. I can't enforce that. But it's pretty clear that that's what you all wanted. That's what the council wanted. That's what it's been for a number of years. And I think that he'll get that message. So, the repeat complaints are simply to point out that, there were 36 email complaints. Yes, there were. But a number of those were from the same individual. So, when you say I had 27 repeat emails, primarily from 2 or 3 individuals, it's not the same as 36 different people complaining about different events. And that's why I point that out to you.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and move into old business.
Airport event. We've talked about this for the last 2 meetings. It's a good thing. It really is incumbent upon the commission to decide how you all want to proceed, because Mr. Potter and I and Mr. Bigelow don't have enough time to organize an airport day, just the 3 of us, and you all probably have contacts that I don't have. It's not brain surgery to put an airport day together. It just takes connections and, just doing the heavy lifting to make it happen. I think it's a great idea. I think the community would enjoy it. I think it's good to open the airport up and let people come inside to see. Most people don't get inside the fence.
Well, I agree. I think, what we need to do as a commission is a couple of the members need to set aside time to meet with you to come up with a date, most likely in the fall. An airport event would be where there would be static displays of different aircraft that residents can come and bring children and so forth and just about touch and feel aircraft and helicopters. And there could be some educational events also, but it would be good to have an aircraft show like that at the airport all day long, and maybe have air automobiles also. Maybe have an automobile show too, because that brings a lot of individuals. My caution on that though, I was around when we had the last airport days, and there were aircraft flying in and out, and there was an accident and lawsuits. And I would recommend that before we go too much further, you need to check on liability insurance, because the city may very well have to provide liability insurance for a day like that. And if we did anything other than static display, that liability insurance would probably cost a lot of money.
My recommendation would be static displays only. That the car show's not a bad idea. I hate having car shows at airport day, but it brings a different crowd. No flying events. I would not close the airport because it is incredibly painful with the FAA when you want to close the airport, but it would be open as normal with no transient parking, which tends to keep people away that are coming up here to go to Old Town for lunch. And it takes, as the slide says, I mean, the planning for an airport day typically takes 12 months. So, you know, to do it right and get it all to mesh together, you're probably looking at next spring before it gets too hot. I don't think we have enough time to put one together for the fall, having done a number of these.
Or is there a couple of the members that could meet with Rod and set a date
Sure.
that ends the spring, for example, and then maybe we would need to marshal the forces to put together.
Well, the commission can always hold a special meeting for only discussing airport day, you know, and we had the discussion last month about if you put a subcommittee together, it's just as painful as bringing the whole commission together. But it really is something that the commission's going to have to carry the ball on, with Mr. Potter and I helping, and we'll be happy to do that.
So have any of you be willing to
I would.
meet?
Yeah,
Hey, Bob?
I'd be willing to do it. Question I have is an old Navy guy, checklist. You know, in industry and in academia, we built checklists of, okay, here's the things you've got to do to pull
Yep.
one of these off. Do you have one of those? Do one of those exist somewhere?
Well, one of those exists in my head somewhere, and we can certainly put that together.
That would probably be helpful, Rod.
Yeah.
Let's scope this thing out so that now we can start assigning actions, tasks, and work through it. And that way, then we've got it for the next time we've got to do it.
No,
Okay?
that,
The first time is discovery. The one after that is repeatable.
no, we can do that. I can put something together in writing that would help us to organize our thoughts and our tasking, and you know, yeah, that is not hard to do. And there's probably published checklists for that already.
And I'm gonna go look for one.
Okay, very good. That'd be very helpful, Bob. Thank you. I would not overlook the fact that some people at the city are going to be real nervous.
Yes, they are.
Okay, and so we need to address that up front pretty quick.
Well, the budget included $2,500 for an airport event. That might just about pay for liability insurance for a static display airport day only. Then there's, police and fire presence. Are we going to get charged for that? Or, can we convince both chiefs that, hey, this is a really cool thing. Why don't you, send a patrol car out and you can switch them off during the day and turn the siren on, and kids absolutely love fire trucks.
Yep.
So,
And this is why I'm asking for a checklist, because
Yeah.
when we go see city council, I think this is one of the things they're gonna ask us about. Okay, and we say, here it is, here's a plan, and this is what it's gonna cost. Are you ready to help pony up for that? And that way it's something in writing rather than just arm waving.
No, you're absolutely right. And, it's going to be a swag on cost.
Yeah.
Cause there's, porta potties and wash stations and all that stuff that costs money. And, a couple of golf carts to rent. So, the event organizers can get around. So yeah, there's a cost, and we can work that all out. And I guarantee you that the council will ask you when you come to do your report, how that's going.
Okay, very good. So Bob will work with you on that and we'll get a report in the future.
Okay.
On that. The next item is the first responder program.
Yes.
And we've discussed this briefly before, and we had a program like this a couple of years ago that I can recall. But for all of you who don't know what we did, it's we brought forth the fire department, the police department, and several aircraft, and let them get into those aircraft and know where, in case of an accident, where you shut the fuel off, where you turn the electric, the magnetos off, how you open the doors to get people out. Some very basic things that a lot of first responders, ambulance people and so forth may not know. And it would be very helpful, especially Randy, if you could be involved in this. The idea was maybe in the fall to set a day aside, a little bit cooler, and have maybe about 7 or 8 different aircraft, which are very common. And a couple of them we do not have in Cottonwood, but we'd have to probably go to Sedona to get them, and videotape it so that the police departments, fire departments can use them in the future with new applicants and people.
No, again, the commission, this would be a commission activity. And you all know who those folks in Sedona are that have Cirrus and some of the experimental aircraft. And it's a great idea. And again, you may want to ask one of the commissioners to kind of take that on for a lead, and I'll work with them. But, I'm probably not the right guy to go to Sedona and ask for volunteer airplanes.
I'm more than happy to be involved. I can have my PIO do the videoing and everything. The only problem I would have is I know no one in this area with any aircraft, so.
That'd be excellent. Yeah, and I'd be more than happy to work with you on that also.
What I said last meeting was I would go look and see what's out there. And I found 4 or 5 different sources, one by the FAA, to provide just that. So I have those 4 or 5 links here for anyone that wants to take the sheet and take a look at it and see if any of those will meet our needs, or at least give us an idea of what we like and don't like. But I did go off and do some homework there when I said I would. So I've got that material here.
Thank you.
I would suggest we include Sedona, Camp Verde, Jerome, police departments, fire departments, ambulances.
Invite them all.
They want to attend.
Invite them all. And if we can videotape it, make that available to all those different departments, maybe put it on YouTube. My IT guy is really good with this stuff.
Rod, one more point. Embry-Riddle may really work with us on this.
I think they will. I think they will definitely bring an airplane.
I mean, I think they probably have people that do this.
Well, they may. I mean, I'll ask the chancellor again tomorrow, but I know for a fact that they would bring an airplane and an instructor over. I mean, those of you who've flown 172, it's pretty basic. You got a mask, electrical shut off and a fuel shut off, and there's no rocket in there. So, but it would be an opportunity for them to talk to, what they do.
That's actually an excellent idea. I am sure for their, for the reputation and for the public information, I have contacts at Prescott Valley, the departments there that I'm sure they would work with Embry-Riddle and
Oh, I'm sure.
maybe Embry-Riddle could just get all the aircraft and do it in one setting. That's a really
Yeah,
good idea.
I think it would be an extremely positive thing for the community.
I'm happy to reach if you need it, I'm happy to
All
reach out on my contact.
Okay, that's good. We'll put that on a future, we'll get together with Rod, you and Randy and I, maybe set a date.
Yeah.
And a listing of aircraft and who to invite, so forth.
And
Okay.
yep, let me know and I'll be happy to accommodate.
Okay. The number 3 item on old business is a request from the city council to have a meeting with the commission or a presentation to bring the council up to date. And I have talked to Ron on this, and he has several ideas to put together. I think if we met with the city council, we would have to be very concise and not overly wordy. We wouldn't want to bore them to death, but we would like to get the points out there, 1 through 10, that we've been accomplishing.
I don't know, and maybe Mr. Bigelow can enlighten us, but I'm thinking they want a presentation from the commission, not from me, and they'll want a PowerPoint with, like you say, 10 bullet points of what you've accomplished in the last calendar year or fiscal year, and what are your intentions in the future, and what is any guidance they have for the commission. This council appears to be very interested in what you do.
I agree. Thank you. And that's, I'd like Ron to
I'll work with
kind of
Ryan.
push and head that up. He also brought forth to me an interesting point, which would be a little bit different than what I had originally thought of, is maybe talk a little bit about the economic benefits of the airport. We have a lot of people that have businesses on the airport, and we probably ought to talk about what the employment rate is, what the value is of those operations that are on airport property.
I think that's probably an excellent idea. We're in the middle of Kaufman Associates doing the rates and charges study. And you might be able to incorporate some of their study findings into your presentation. The master plan is essentially old data now. It's 2021 data. There is some economic background, but it's no longer really viable. And we're not going to do a master plan update probably for 5 years, 3 to 5 years. So no, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, airports are an economic engine, and we're somewhat shackled by the 100-year lease.
Yeah, we're shackled by past decisions, but we'll have to overcome that.
Yeah, but I will tell you the city's done a really good job of maintaining the airport and its infrastructure over the years. I mean, the runway's in good shape, taxiway's in terrible shape, but we have a project to fix it. The ramp is okay. And we're looking at trying to build some hangars. So all of that, I think, is important for the council to know.
Okay, very good. Thank you. New business have a couple of commission activities that we need to address. The first one is the member training. Did you want to touch on that, Rod?
Yeah, the clerk presented to the council earlier this month a revised boards and commissions handbook. the council accepted it and approved mandatory training for all board and commission members and staff that are involved with boards and commissions, with 3 dates given for that. And it will be training on open meeting laws, ethics, things that the lawyers love to talk about, because we all love the lawyers, and the clerk about procedures and so on. So please email the city clerk and let them know which one of those 3 trainings you'd like to attend.
I find it comical, we canceled the July meeting. And yet
We-
they've scheduled the required meetings in July.
I don't work for the clerk, so you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And the council, I wasn't at that meeting, but I'm sure the deputy city clerk could tell you how important it was to the council.
Okay, so everybody needs to pick a date, attend the training. If somebody doesn't pick a date, you could contact me. I'd be more than happy to talk to them. Okay. Good. That sounds like an interesting session.
I thought you were gonna say you'd go for us.
Uh-huh.
If we didn't pick a date, you'd go for us.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a recorder. Okay, and then,
Another training opportunity.
virtual training.
So the American Association of Airport Executives is the clearinghouse for airport management. So they're the folks who appear before Congress and testify. They are the folks who have training at all different levels. They're the folks that certify airport executives as either certified members of the organization or accredited members. And there's not very many accredited members. 10% of us are accredited because it's a painful process. They lobby Congress on behalf of airports for airport improvement program money, the contract tower program. So they're a pretty broad-based organization. They have this training available for board and commission members at the end of July, on the 30th from 9 in the morning to noon Arizona time, which is not the same as Durango time, by the way. And the city will pay if any of the commissioners want to attend. I cannot vouch for this training. I haven't taken it, but I can tell you that I think it's going to be good. They're going to talk about commissioners' roles, the airport manager's role, acronyms like AIP and NIPIUS and all of the things that, you know, really are important when it comes to funding. And if you'll let me know, I will be happy to make sure that we get you signed up and pay for it.
I'm interested.
I think it'd be a good idea if everybody attended or viewed that, and I have signed up,
Yes,
as you know.
so we will get the credit card out and make this happen. So if you haven't told me, please let me know. And I think it'll be good. And if it's not good, tell me it's not good, and I'll make sure we never do it again.
Okay, very good. Discussion items on electric aircraft.
You know, this is, you know, the chair and I have talked about this, and the technology is on the cusp of being a reality. There are clearly aircraft that are electric and fly using battery power. There are air taxi that are electric and remotely piloted. You do not think I will ever get into a remotely piloted anything. I have a little trouble with the white cars down at Sky Harbor without drivers. It really is about energy management and the weight and cube of batteries. But those of you that had cell phones back in the 90s remember how big the batteries were and how inefficient the phones were. And today, the phones that all of us carry are smarter than computers that we had years ago, and the batteries last for days. So it's coming. And I think that we have a video to show, and then, Mr. Chair, you can have the discussion, so let me see. My IT guy told me how to do this.
This morning, GMA is in the air with a new kind of plane that could change how we ship and how we fly. This is the Beta aircraft, flying entirely on battery. It's something Kyle Clark thought up over 2 decades ago in college. Now he's flying it over his home state of Vermont.
Did you ever think that you'd be sitting here on Good Morning America with a helicopter in front of you, getting a shot of you in the pilot seat?
You know, I wish I could say I didn't, but of course I did. I was telling people for 20 years that this could change the way we fly. It's going to change everything.
The plane charges for just $13 in 50 minutes. You can get in the air in 15 seconds. The goal, faster and cheaper medical flights, even faster Amazon deliveries.
And for couriers like UPS and Amazon, where they fly a lot and they want to bring packages to everybody next day across the entire country, if they can do that less expensive, their level of service goes up.
The Beta plane can travel more than 300 miles. Charging stations are already popping up all over the country, with more on the way. And there are 2 models, one to lift off and land vertically like a helicopter, and another to take off on a runway like a regular plane.
This flight for about an hour will cost us about $8 in energy. And if you compared that to a gas-powered plane, that's 40 times less.
But I also asked him about safety. Though it looks like there's only one engine, there's actually 2 hidden behind the propeller, and he made us nervous with this test.
So even if something happens to one of those motors,
Yeah, if one of those motors fails, I can shut it off right now. We'll continue to fly just the same. Or I can shut the other one off. Or watch this, I'll turn them both off. Look at this, we're a glider. We glide 4 times as well as a regular airplane.
wait, so right now we have no motor going.
We have no motor going. We're a glider right now.
It's a family affair. Just about every member of the Clark family works at Beta, and they're pilots. His wife, Katie.
Lila flew a plane before she ever drove a car. My kids were all homeschooled, and so for me, this was free math, and free science, and whether they fell in love with aviation or not was a bonus.
And it's not just Beta. There are several companies building electric aircraft. All are hoping for FAA certification in the coming year. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy testing the Beta planes out just last week.
Kyle, what do you think the Wright brothers would say right now?
Well, that's a humbling question. I mean, come on. But look, we have a culture here at Beta where we are makers. We make things from technologies that come from non-aerospace places. That's what the Wright brothers did when they created the first airplane.
So it is all so very exciting. And Kyle is with me. And Kyle, you have a big announcement you're making first here on GMA about September. What's happening in September?
We're launching operations all the way across the country from here in Vermont and New York, all the way down through Texas and out to California, carrying packages initially to people's houses and in the future carrying people.
Just incredible. So that's it. They're in business. They're ready to go, Robin.
Yes, they are ready to go. 2 questions for you, Gio. One, how fast was your heart beating when they shut down the power? And second, where do these electric plane companies envision people using them?
You know, Robin, he did that without me really knowing. And I was like, wait, what? We have no motor right now? But it was all safe and all good because this thing just glides. But really, small towns especially, are really going to feel the impact here because they're going to be able to get small, packages. UPS, for example, has already ordered 150 of these planes. So they are ready to go with this. This is a real thing, and it is happening. Medical supplies, organs going from hospital to hospital. Very important.
Yeah, very important. And so quiet.
Yeah.
So quiet.
Beautiful shot.
Oh, wonderful, Gio. You made history, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of great uses for that plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Gio.
That's it, Mr. Chair.
So do we have planning in the works,
Well, I think
charging station?
I have brought this up several times, and an article I also sent to Rod is that Embry-Riddle is now moving into electric. They have made a substantial investment in Florida with a company that they're partnering with to basically develop electric trainers, which would be 1 or 2 or 3 individuals that would be able to learn to fly in an electric and do touch and goes, say in Cottonwood with an electric airplane, which would be substantially quiet. And once they have the batteries operating a couple of hours, I think that, we would most likely see electric aircraft in Cottonwood. And I think it's moving a lot faster than most people realize. Any other, comments on electric?
So do we have plans underway to install our first charging station?
I would say that that's opportunity because we're not close to that yet.
Yeah, but we ought to at least start thinking about it.
No, you're absolutely right.
And the
I-
question is it the same as the Tesla? It looks like the Charger might be.
Yeah.
Are they?
They're a little different. I've told Ryan he needs to go up to the Seattle area. This is a big deal in Seattle. There's a lot of technology for electric aircraft. The county I worked for actually bought the A&P school at one of the tech colleges, 2 electric engines, so that the students would learn how to work on electric aircraft engines. So it's out there. Up there, we actually talked about trying to put a charging station in that would work for Tesla, and you could throw the cord or another cord over the fence for an aircraft. I don't think we're there yet. Certainly, it's coming, and I think it will come certainly in Ryan's lifetime. I mean, I think you'll see at some point commuter aircraft leaving Cottonwood, electric commuter, non-piloted aircraft leaving Cottonwood going to Sky Harbor.
There are, training, there's flight schools back east right now that are using electric trainers. That there's training students with electric aircraft, and they have videos from those companies, and they say they're extremely inexpensive and quiet.
It's coming, and you've said that. I mean, it's just a matter of time, and it's about producing the energy with less weight and cube.
Okay, one last item. Do we have any discussion on what you would like on a future agenda? We don't have a July meeting, we'll be meeting in August. Are there any topics that you want to try to get out on the table now or get to me on any activity or flight kind of a thing you want to talk about?
I have a list of things, but I don't know whether they go to the city or whether they come here. And so they involve the airport grounds and how we can make use of the community grounds, but they're not necessarily aviation related, but they'll be on the airport grounds. So which bucket do they fall in? I don't know.
I would recommend you start here
Okay.
because I think the city council most likely would send you back to the.
Well, I wouldn't go to city council. I'd go see the city manager
Yeah,
and
well,
ask him what he wants to do with it. But that's why I'm asking.
okay.
You know,
No, I
what I'm
would
saying to you
suggest you
first.
come here. I would
Okay.
suggest start here. Any other items? Do you have anything, Ron?
No, sir.
Okay, no further, items on the agenda tonight. Do I hear a motion to
Well, I'm
adjourn?
sorry, then, do you want me to have something for us on August? You want 5 slides of some of,
If you want it
My
on the
ideas?
agenda, I'll put it on the agenda.
Please.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
That's what I need to know.
I didn't want that to get
No,
away
no,
from us.
that's fine.
Okay,
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
motion made.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.